They say that sometimes a single split second can change more than a lifetime of memories. For 28-year-old Eun-hye, time didn't just change, it stopped. It was supposed to be a romantic getaway, a celebration of 300 days together. But on a quiet coastal road on Jeju Island, that celebration turned into a scene of absolute devastation. When the dust settled, the driver was walking around without a scratch. The passenger, however, was gone. Today we are looking into a case that started as a tragic drunk driving accident, but spiraled into a homicide investigation involving secret recordings, suspicious behavior, and a convertible roof that was deliberately left open. The date is November 10th, 2019. It's 1 a.m., a quiet village on the northwest coast of Jeju. The silence of the night is shattered by a sound so loud, residents rush out of their homes in panic. The scene they find is horrific. A convertible sports car has been reduced to scrap metal. The front end is unrecognizable. The impact was so violent that the car didn't just hit the stone wall, it plowed through it, scattering heavy volcanic rocks like pebbles. Now, looking at that wreckage, you'd assume no one survived. But the driver, a man we'll call Choi, was standing there. Witnesses even saw him talking calmly to the police. He looked fine. But when police looked at the passenger seat, it was empty. Eun-hye hadn't just been hurt. Because the roof of the convertible was open, the force of the impact launched her out of the vehicle. She was found on the asphalt some distance away. Her injuries were catastrophic. She was rushed to the hospital, barely clinging to life. Eun-hye fought for nearly 2 years, undergoing countless surgeries. But in August, 2 years after the crash, she succumbed to her injuries. Her older sister, Sue, wasn't just grieving. She was angry because she knew something the police initially missed. After the crash, Sue had collected Eun-hye's belongings. Among the clothes and the suitcase, she found her sister's phone. Hoping to hear her sister's voice one last time, she checked the voice memos, and she found a recording. The timestamp? November 10th, just 1 hour before the crash. Take a listen.
난 오빠 좋은데 우리 제주도 지나고 나서부터 아무것도 아닌 거라고? 오케이. 아닌 거라고? 대답을 해.
맞다고.
그 뭐야?
맞다고.
뭐가 맞아?
헤어진 거.
제주도 여행 끝나고 나서 어떻게 한다고?
그쵸.
It was a breakup. On their 300-day anniversary, Choi was ending it. Eun-hye didn't want to let go. 1 hour later, another recording.
지네 보니 나는 안 되겠다라는 게 나오니?
응.
그럼 들어봐.
요거는 우리는 사는 분위기. 그리고 그런 즐거운 거에 대해서 안 해봤자 안 해.
The police report noted the car was speeding down a curved slope, hit a curb on the right, and then smashed into the wall. But here's the thing. It wasn't raining. It wasn't snowing. The road wasn't slippery. It was a route that shouldn't have been dangerous. And then there's Choi's behavior after the crash. While Eun-hye was in a coma, her family found that the passcode to her apartment had been changed. CCTV footage showed Choi entering her home twice. When confronted, his excuse was bizarre. He said, "I changed it so your family wouldn't take anything." He claimed he was trying to stop her family from stealing her things. But the lies didn't stop there. He told Eun-hye's friends, "I'm going to save her. We promised to get married. I need you to be a witness to our engagement." Her friends were baffled. Eun-hye had never mentioned marriage. In fact, we know from the recording that he had just dumped her an hour before the crash. Initially, this was treated as a DUI accident. Choi's blood alcohol level was 0.118%. He was wasted. But after Eun-hye died, prosecutors upgraded the charge to murder. The courtroom battle was intense. The defense claimed, "It was dark, I didn't see the wall." But the car's black box told a different story. The car accelerated to 114 kilometers per hour on a village road. The brake pedal? It was pressed only 0.5 seconds before impact. Experts agreed, 0.5 seconds isn't an attempt to stop. That's the reaction time of someone who has already accepted the crash is happening. The prosecution argued that Choi knew exactly what he was doing. He was secured in the driver's seat, she was unsecured in the open air. He walked away, she never woke up. Choi and the defense argued that he didn't remember anything, and what happened was a mistake. For 2 years, the question hung in the air. Was this a tragic DUI accident, or was it a calculated execution using a vehicle as the weapon? On December 16, 2021, the Jeju District Court finally gave their answer, and it was a verdict that shocked the prosecution. The court found the boyfriend, Mr. Choi, not guilty of murder. However, he did not walk away free. The judge convicted him of dangerous driving resulting in death and sentenced him to 4 years in prison, ordering him to be detained immediately. So why did the murder charge fail? The prosecution fought hard, appealing all the way to the Supreme Court, but 3 separate trials all reached the same conclusion. Here is why the judges simply couldn't believe this was a homicide. First, they looked at the motive. The prosecution argued that Choi held a deep grudge because Eun-hye wouldn't break up with him. But the judges looked at the text messages and saw something different. They saw a normal couple having a normal fight. They had even bought matching couple t-shirts for the trip. The court ruled that there was simply no evidence of the kind of extreme hatred required to drive a man to murder. Second, they looked at the method. Think about it. This was a convertible. If you ram a convertible into a stone wall at 70 miles per hour, you are just as likely to die as your passenger. The judges ruled that the risk to the driver was too high for this to be a planned attack. And then there was the timeline. Between the moment Choi slammed on the gas and the moment of impact, 19 seconds passed. The court argued that if he wanted her dead because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he wouldn't have given her 19 seconds. Plenty of time to click it back in. They also noted that the road was dark and the car had heavy window tinting. It is highly probable that in his drunken state, he simply didn't see the curve until it was too late. Finally, the court looked at his actions after the crash. A murderer usually runs or stays silent, but Choi begged witnesses to call 911. He even called his own mother, begging her to donate blood because she shared the same blood type as Eun-hye. He paid her hospital bills. He texted his brother, consumed by guilt. In the eyes of the law, these were not the actions of a killer, but the desperate regrets of a man who made a fatal drunken mistake. 4 years in prison for the death of a girlfriend. For the family of the victim, it feels like a slap on the wrist. That's it for today. Let me know in the comments, do you think this was a tragic DUI accident, or was this a calculated crime? This was Mr. Lee. I'll see you next time.